Good day. My name is Stuart Madnick. I'm a professor at the MIT Sloan School of Management. And it's great to hear that so many people will be attending the 2024 VLDB conference. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend, but I wanted to at least send my congratulations and greetings and maybe a bit of history. I've been asked to talk a little bit about the origins of VLDB and a bit about Professor David Shao. I'm not sure. I believe the record is about 29 attendances at VLDB. I'm not sure if I can match that or exceed it. I do know I was attending most of the first 25 conferences and various ones on and off in the subsequent years. But let me roll back the time clock to the early 1970s and talk a little about the origin of VLDB. I have lots of memories, but unfortunately 50 years ago was a long time ago. But over the years, I've been a trustee of VLDB, a secretary, and vice president. As you know, the first VLDB was held in 1975, but my association with David Shao goes up back a little bit before that. I'm not sure exactly what year it was, but in early 1970s, both of us were attendees at a conference in Denmark, probably on file systems or data systems. I don't believe databases was actually a term being widely used at that time. And so we met there and became somewhat friends. Subsequently, David was due to have a sabbatical, and he asked if I'd be willing to be his host at MIT, and I was glad to do so. So while at MIT, the idea of running a VLDB conference, a very large database conference, came up. And I don't quite know the history behind it, but he had developed a relationship with Craig Fields, a new program manager at DARPA, who had interest in databases, and in particular in large databases, maybe even very large databases. So I believe with some funding from Craig Fields, we proceeded with the idea of running the first VLDB conference. Now, a few bit of tidbits that some of you may or may not know. The plan was to run the conference in Boston. Unfortunately, neither one of us planned ahead and to realize that fall in the Boston area is extremely busy, with people going to see all the beautiful trees and foliage and so on. So as we searched around for a hotel in Boston, it became extremely difficult. We finally ended up with two options: a hotel in Framingham, Massachusetts, or I believe a hotel in Salem, New Hampshire. Now we thought calling Framingham, Massachusetts part of Boston was a bit of a stretch, but calling New Hampshire part of Massachusetts seemed like out of the question. So that's why it ended up being in Framingham, Massachusetts for the very first VLDB. Now, back in those days, back in the early days of VLDB, there was a bit of tension between it and the SIGMOD conference, which was always held in the United States. So to kind of reduce this friction and possible conflicts, the decision was made that VLDB would be held mostly, at least 2 out of 3 years, outside the United States, typically 1 year in Asia, 1 year in Europe, and 1 year in the United States, with occasionally trips to South America or Africa as well. So with that regard, as you know, the second conference was held in Brussels, and I was not able to attend that. But as punishment, David Shao asked me to be the organizer for the third VLDB to be held in Tokyo, Japan. I was glad to do so, and it was a very successful conference. But I should tell you, there were concerns. When I was discussing things with our Japanese collaborators, they told me that we were going to be using a hotel that is brand new, in fact, was due to be completed in the month before the VLDB conference. That seemed a bit risky to me, and I raised some concerns, but they told me, don't worry, this is Japan. It will be ready on time. And it was a great event. And over the years, I've really enjoyed, in fact, that early decision to hold VLDB around the world not only allowed me to meet with and chat with other researchers from around the world, attend great papers, but also to have a lot of great experiences all over the world. So I hope you're enjoying your time in China and all the time you'll be spending at subsequent conferences of VLDB around the world. Thank you very much. I look forward to meeting the rest of you at subsequent conferences, and do keep in touch. Thank you very much. Bye.